reps go out to Ann Arbor to get things on and popping. Bryce Underwood is going to be your starting quarterback game 1. Now, that's not going to be announced until the Monday of the Week 1 press conference for Sharon Moore. I'm speaking like semi-authoritatively here. There's no decision being made, but everyone close to Ann Arbor tells you the same thing. It's Bryce Underwood. And it's not just a thing of like, oh, you're saying it's going to be Bryce Underwood. What I'm being told is Bryce Underwood is taking all the first-team reps. And on top of that, there's nobody else that's really pushing him within those, other reps that are being taken. Even if other guys are getting reps with the ones, like it's pretty much Bryce Underwood's role to go with the ones, if that makes sense. A couple of ways to look at this. You can see this whole thing glass half empty and say, well, JD, guy's 17, going to be 18 next week. Like, are we sure we don't want him to have a little bit more pressure behind him? We don't want someone else kind of pushing that quarterback room and helping Bryce Underwood progress. I hear you. I understand. That's valid. Us on this show, we are, if nothing else, a glass half full kind of show. The way that I'm looking at this thing, if I got a quarterback who's never played a down of college football, I'm counting on to start for us in 2025 and start for us with a pretty navigable path, pretty big opportunity for this roster to go make the college football playoff, I want him getting as much reps as possible with the ones. He got bowl practice. It was just him and Jaden Davis during spring ball. He's getting the bulk of the ones right now during fall camp. I love the way it's shaping up. So when it comes to being as ready as possible, I like the way this whole thing is trending for a one Bryce Underwood. Now, the O-line is intriguing. Intriguing, not really the words you want to have describing your O-line. They feel pretty settled at 3 of the 5 positions. Tackle's the big question mark. Now, Andrew Babaloa, stud true freshman, could be the guy that ends up fitting in there for you. We'll see what happens. It's not the same vibe, though, around the offensive line as it was previously. Because think about those old Michigan teams with Jim Harbaugh and Blake Corum. It's like, hey, if anything else, if we can't throw the football 5 yards downfield, that's fine. We're going to absolutely abuse you running the football. That's not the same outfit when it comes to like how confident they are on the offensive line, but I do have 2 other votes of confidence as we're in the time of confidence and hopium and all that during fall camp. I have 2 reasons for optimism for you if you're a Michigan fan when it comes to the O-line. The first of which being, look at who your head coach is. It's Sharon Moore. We say it a lot. I trust head coaches just to do what they do when it comes to the side of the ball or the position group they specialize in. Sharon Moore comes from the offensive line, was an offensive lineman. I think that if there was a person you are trusting to get that position group right in all of America, Sharon Moore is probably near the top of that list. Second cause for optimism, we've talked about this a couple of times. Bryce Underwood is not your average true freshman quarterback. Bryce Underwood is not your average quarterback in college football to begin with his skill set. I keep saying this, but I feel like I need to just beat this horse till it's beyond dead and in the grave. 6'3", 6'4", 230, 240-ish in that like ballpark, throwing down backflips. You can run the ball. You can call the read option game. So I say all that to get to this point. You can, I think, ask less of your offensive line because of who you have at quarterback with saying, hey, we're just going to read that edge defender, just going to read that Sam linebacker. We're not going to ask you to block them. You go up and work to the second level, and you're in a good spot there when it comes to the offensive line. So all that's to say, cause for optimism on the offensive line. They feel better about that group from the end of spring ball into fall camp right now. Optimism, it's a good thing right now. Donovan McCulley is separating himself right now as the true wide receiver 1 for Michigan. If that name sounds somewhat familiar and you're a Michigan fan, like, why do I know that name? He was at Indiana previously, transfers to Michigan, and got there in the spring, and he's now wearing the jersey number 1. Now, if you're a Michigan fan, you know why that's a big deal. If you don't, let me give you a little bit of a quick background on this. You don't get to wear the number 1 at wide receiver for Michigan unless you have earned it. So Donovan McCulley shows up at Michigan. He wants to be number 1, and he's wearing 13 during the spring, and they tell him, you have to, what I just said, earn the right to be number 1, because a lot of dudes have worn that number. Most recently, Roman Wilson, before you talk about Braylon Edwards and what he was wearing that number. Like, number 1's a special number at Michigan for the wide receiver position. So Donovan McCulley having earned that speaks volumes to what he's done behind closed doors. Someone that was at the scrimmage over the course of the last scrimmage that Michigan had said he's the, quote, real deal. We'll see what that means. Defensively, they feel real good. And you felt good if you're a Michigan fan about the defense, but just to hear intel that like corroborates that, I feel like it's kind of comforting, if you will, at this point in the year. During the scrimmage, they said offense still kind of gaining their sea legs, work in progress. Defensively, they're like, it was pretty much another day at the office for those guys. Like maybe a year ago with Wink Martindale, there was a little bit more volume and some more communication. It was more just like loud, if you will, when it comes to how that side of the football was operating. What I was told is the defense was pretty much like ho-hum, not a lot of talking, just like they know what they're there to do. It's nothing new for that side of the football. They're going to be in good shape. Defensive line is where you get really excited. They feel like they have truly like 10 to 11 guys that can legitimately play for you on that side of the football. And not just they have, 10 guys in terms of depth. Like they have 10 guys to where they feel like regardless of what unit's out there, whether it's first or second, whatever platoon, there's not a massive drop-off or a difference in watching those groups. Like they think it's the same from ones to the twos, which is huge. Now, one area of borderline concern, I should say, is the cornerback depth. You have guys there, but if you lose a Zeke Berry, God forbid something happened at that position, you don't know that you have as much behind those guys to step up and do what you need them to do to get to the college football playoff. Shamari Earls is a freshman they're excited about. Still a freshman. Don't think you want to ask him to be your go-to guy at corner early on in his career due to injury, but if it happens, it happens, and I'm sure Michigan will respond. But that's just something to keep a pulse on thus far through fall camp. But I think when you talk about where Michigan's at psychologically, we're all talking about the college football playoff. We're all talking about what they should do based on how they finished last year. One thing that got me excited, just from someone who's played college football and been around a lot of teams, they're talking about the acronym TNT, which means today, not tomorrow. I think this part of the year, especially for a team like Michigan that finished as hot as they did, it's very easy to fall into the trap of, well, we look to November, we look to get into December and being a playoff team, and all that is well and good. You should have those goals, but the best teams, the best leadership, make it about the next day. Make it about the process. Make it about the mundane, boring stuff. To hear that's Michigan's acronym they're working with right now doesn't mean anything right now, but that's the correct compass that successful teams have as it pertains to getting to where Michigan wants to go.